Have you ever experienced feelings of jealousy towards your partner, or had your partner experienced jealousy towards you? I'm Reverend Dr. Brent Hawks. I'm the Executive Director of Rainbow Faith and Freedom.
And I'm John Sproul, and I'm happily retired.
And he's my husband. Jealousy is one of the top 2 reasons why LGBT couples break up, and I think many heterosexual couples as well. Finances, we handled it in a previous video, and this one is on jealousy. Now, when we first started getting together, I think even before we got together, or was it afterwards?
I think it was before we were really moved in or anything.
Yeah. Well, we had an incident where John thought I was possibly jealous. Go ahead.
He was green with jealousy. We were at the Empire Diner, and the waiter tipped me a chocolate shake for dessert, which was very nice of the waiter. But Brent thought that it was a come-on from the waiter, and he was in a state, and he was up with his friend Linda Brown until about 4 a.m. I didn't know anything about it.
I certainly behaved myself in public, didn't create a scene. The waiter was really cute, and so was John. He didn't give anyone else anything at the table, but John got a free milkshake.
Ooh, maybe I was cute.
So, that certainly was not an example of infidelity, but infidelity in a relationship where one partner breaks the covenant and does something that's outside of the agreement is often a major cause of jealousy. So it's really important in relationships to make sure that you're clear with your agreements with each other, that you have an agreement and that you honestly come to that agreement together, and that you're clear, and from time to time it may need to be revisited or revised.
And also I think that you can't take for granted that your relationship should be a mirror image of a heterosexual relationship. So you do have, for gay people and for lesbians, you do need to negotiate what your covenant is.
And there will be mistakes. People will make mistakes in whatever, whether it's around the issue of infidelity or other areas in the relationship where jealousy could happen. People will make mistakes. And forgiveness is important. Too many relationships that could have been good, healthy relationships come to an abrupt end because someone makes a mistake and the other person loses out. And that's where couples counseling can be crucially important. In the first year that we were together, John came to me at one point and said that he had met someone at work that he was interested in, and he wanted to pursue that interest wherever it might lead, he said. And I was obviously really upset. I went to my therapist and said, what do I do? And she said, Brent, you can't forbid him from exploring that. Because if you do, he will forever resent it, and you have to let it play itself out. And that was very, very difficult. But John very quickly saw the light and came back to me.
In a long-term relationship, each of the partners is going to have their head turned at some point in the relationship. It may last a while, it may be just very temporary, but it is going to happen.
And based on the research, couples need to be open to negotiating, changing, revising their agreements with each other.
In GLBT relationships, you probably need to think about what you want from your relationship, what the ground rules should be, and don't assume that your ground rules are going to be the same for the ground rules that most heterosexual couples might choose.
So for me, when I was a kid, I used to dream about Tarzan. I would dream that Tarzan and I would be in the forest, on the treehouse, and swinging on the vines together. I also had a frequent dream, that I was in a station wagon, dates me a little bit. I had a house with a white picket fence, which we do, and a bunch of kids in the back of the station wagon. I had no idea. There was my husband driving the car, and there was me in the car, or sometimes I'd be driving the car, and he'd be sitting beside me, and all the kids in the back. Had no idea where the kids came from. I didn't know all the birds and the bee stuff in those days, but that was my dream of what I wanted to have in those very, very early days. So that was a symbol that I wanted my relationship to be just like a heterosexual relationship, only it would be 2 men. The research tells us that for gay male relationships that have been together 10 years or more, that 75% of those relationships are open relationships, whether because of the agreement that the couple have or because one of the partners is cheating. And so that's why we talk about the importance of being clear, honoring your relationships, honoring your covenants, or renegotiating them.
For lesbians, they may be more comfortable in a monogamous relationship, and these are things that are based on differences in male and female culture.
And whether it's nurture or whether it's we're socialized in society, whether it's because men are socialized to be sexual and open about it, who knows? There are other types of jealousy, though, besides this.
You can be jealous of your partner for any number of reasons. That your partner has a wide circle of friends and maybe you don't. That your partner has an extended family. Maybe you don't. You may be jealous about the amount of time that your partner spends with their family and is not spending that time with you.
There could also be jealousy around career levels, in terms of someone might have a very successful career and someone may be struggling in their career. Someone might get a promotion and someone else might not get a promotion. And so, rather than celebrating their successes, sometimes it can lead to jealousy. John and I, in terms of my career, I had 40, like I said in past videos, I had a 40-year career as a senior pastor, and during that time, a lot of accomplishments, a lot of recognition. And one of those was the Order of Canada, which was really, really amazing. And from the day that I got the word that I was chosen for the Order of Canada, I said to John, I would never have been able to have had this happen if it wasn't for you. That your support down through the years, etc. And so I really viewed that honor as an honor to both of us. And I kept trying to say that to John all the time. And every once in a while, when I'm putting on the little Order of Canada pin, which I forgot to put on today, I would get John to pin it on. I said, here, put it on. It's your pin too. And so those accomplishments can lead to jealousy, or we can recognize the role that each of us have in supporting the other partner.
Sometime with reason, you're happy to be as supportive of your partner's career path as you can be. Also, one can be jealous because there may be an age difference, and one person...
Not here.
Not so much. But one may be retired and the other may still be working. And that can create all sorts of dynamics.
Mm-hmm. I could be jealous of all the time that John has on his hands to enjoy his hobbies.
Yes.
I could be jealous of how much work I'm putting in. Well, he enjoys his hobby. Not that I would be jealous.
Yes, but you're semi-retired. You've chosen this.
True.
Now, another area that creates problems we discussed in the finances part of our video series, and that's different income levels. And that can work a couple of ways, even though you may choose to proportionally contribute to your joint finances. The person with the lesser income is usually feeling, oh gosh, I'd like to be kicking in a bit more.
Or have a bit more, yeah.
Yep.
Also, jealousy can arise because of family backgrounds, whether families are wealthy, whether they have, you get a lot of inheritance or the other one doesn't, whether they have a lot of gifts or property that they give you. In our situation, John's family, I would say, were a little bit more upper middle class than mine, and because John's an only child. In early 1960s, his parents put all of the grandparents' stuff away for the day that John had a wife and kids. Well, it didn't quite work out that way. So instead of a wife, he got me. Instead of kids, we got these guys. And then all of a sudden, we have all of this furniture, beautiful pieces of furniture. And I think I have one little picture from my grandmother. And that's about it for family. Now, because we've been together 40 years, we've accumulated some things on our own that are joint things. And so that's helped a bit. But I really appreciate the items that John has. Now, my problem is not to be jealous that John has them. My concern is there's just so much of them. And so at some point he's had to, over the years, make some decisions to let some stuff go. Not because of jealousy, but just because of clutter. Accumulation of stuff. Let's move on.
I'd also say that having received a lot of stuff from my parents, one of the important things was that I needed to make sure that we could have those joint purchases or Brent purchases that gave Brent a feeling of his own space in our home.
Jealousy can also happen because of extended family. I have lots and 3 sisters and a brother and lots of nieces and nephews, and John was an only child. We're very fortunate that John has felt very adopted by my side of the family, but so that has not been a problem.
And there's many differences in a relationship and in the people. For example, I have interests in music and languages and art, and those are things that Brent is not going to really participate in as much.
He's being very polite. I'm terrible at those things, and so have no skills in them, and originally had no interest in them.
But you are excellent at interpersonal skills,
Apparently.
which I am not great at.
True. I think the differences have really strengthened our relationship. In the next video, we're going to talk about our strengths, but digress for a sec. John's musical interests have gotten me out to a lot of different musical events I never would have had. His art interests, I've gone to art galleries and art galleries and art galleries and art galleries.
More art galleries,
yes.
too.
And some of them I've liked, but I've been exposed to art in a way I never would have been before, and it's been wonderful. So although jealousy can be a very painful emotional experience, evolutionary psychologists regard it not as an emotion to be suppressed, but one to heed, as a signal or a wake-up call that a valued relationship may be in danger and that steps may need to be taken to make sure you put that relationship on a stronger footing. So as a result, jealousy can be seen as a necessary emotion because it preserves social bonds and motivates people to engage in behaviors that maintain important relationships, as long as the jealousy doesn't become destructive. Now, we've covered two major reasons for relationship breakups: finances, as we said in the previous one, and this one, jealousy. But long-term relationships, if they work through these things, can really increase the likelihood that a couple will be able to not only experience a lot of wonderful moments, but be able to be more stable and prosperous, because relationship breakups end up being very expensive, not just because of lawsuits, I don't mean that, but because two incomes combined together can create a number of advantages, and where a single income can sometimes struggle to make ends meet.
I'm also just going to say, when you're a part of a couple, you're both on the same team. So if somebody on the team gets a winning goal or a walk around the baseball diamond or
See,
whatever.
This is a strength I brought to the relationship, introducing him to sports. So don't worry if sometimes his sports analogies are a little off.
Sports analogies just aren't going to be very good for me here. But
we get the point.
But if one of you's had a win, it's a win for both of you, and you need to be glad for your partner. Now, if you... Yeah, sports analogies, not good. But anyway, if you found this video helpful, even with the sports analogies in it, please share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe. If you click on the little like button, where is the like button? I think it's over here.
You're running on.
And the subscribe button's over there. You can do us a real favor, and it doesn't cost you anything to subscribe.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you.